What's something that makes you cringe every time you see it? I'll go first. Solar panels being installed.
Unless you are planning on living in that freaking house for the next 15 years, please, for the love of God, do not put solar panels on them.
Everyone says solar is the future until the payments hit. People all across the country are drowning in debt and wondering if going solar was their biggest mistake. If you're not careful, the same thing can happen to you. So what happens when you're promised solar panels will save you money, but they end up costing you more? Let's find out.
All right, let's talk about solar panels. So my husband and I decided to purchase solar panels through Shine Solar, which services Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. So we had a Zoom meeting with them to discuss this before we purchased them. I guess we didn't ask all the questions that we should have because we're not well versed in solar panels. We paid $35,000 to have solar panels installed on our roof. What they don't tell you is that it compromises the integrity of our roof. It was a brand new roof that was put on our house. So when the housing market skyrocketed, we decided to sell our home and move back to the farm. They didn't disclose to us what all that entails. So that would involve removing them, transporting them, and reinstalling them, which is upward of tens of thousands of dollars, in addition to the $30,000 that you spent plus on solar panels. Now, when it comes down to it, solar panels will not pay off until your note is completed. So we paid about $167 for our solar panels a month. Our electric bill would be anywhere from $40 to $60 a month with the solar panels. So $200+ a month, which is what we were paying before we got the solar panels.
Before you buy something, especially if you're going to finance it, you need to think through several worst case scenarios and how exactly you want to handle them. In this situation, one of the biggest questions is what happens if you need to move or sell your home sooner than you planned? In this woman's case, she had to pay to remove the solar panels, transport them, and then reinstall them at the new house. That's a huge unexpected expense. But I'm curious, did they try to have the buyer take over the loan or the payments and maybe they said no? Now, you could fight me if you want on this, but this is exactly why I'm cautious about financing anything besides a home, because life can change quickly and that debt that once felt manageable can suddenly become a trap. So would you ever finance anything besides a home? Let me know what you think. If you thought that was bad, wait until you hear this next part.
They also told us that the extra energy that we produced would be sold back to the city that we lived in, which was a lie. They do not honor that at all. And they've told Shine Solar that we don't honor that. So quit telling people that, because it's a right out blatant lie. They also promised us that we would produce a certain amount of energy. We got on the app, realized, hey, we're not producing what you told us that we would be producing. So what did they do to try to make it right? They come out and put extra solar panels on our house. We still were not generating the amount of electricity that we were guaranteed. So they came out and put a battery pack on our house that was supposedly like $20,000. So when it come time to sell our home, guess what we had to do with the revenue that was generated from our sale of our home? We had to pay off the solar panels, because no one in their right mind purchasing a home is going to come in and say, hey, this is a great idea. I want to take over the note and pay on these solar panels for 15 or 30 years or however long the note was. I don't remember. Really, Shine Solar? Is that how you treat your customers? I understand you try to make it right, but you blatantly lied to us about multiple things. We compromised the integrity of our roof. And when we wanted to move, we couldn't afford to have you come out and tear down our panels and put them where we moved. So my suggestion to you is that if you are interested in solar panels, do it yourself.
Never take a salesperson's word as fact. Always confirm the details with the electric company directly. The fact of the matter is, some salespeople will say whatever it takes to close a deal, especially if they're earning a commission. This is simply another example of something that people do not think about. What happens to your solar panels if you sell the home? And the reality is, most buyers don't want to take over your solar loan or your lease. 9 times out of 10, they'd rather walk away from the house instead of taking on an extra payment. And I do agree with her advice about doing solar on your own if you can. Viewers have mentioned this in my previous videos in the comments, and many also suggested getting a battery pack and even avoiding putting the solar panels directly on your roof if it's possible. Buying something expensive from a salesperson after the first meeting is almost always a bad idea. Here's why.
And here it is. This is what I mean. I ran across this Facebook post in one of our local community pages. I've taken out all of the identifying information, but this is exactly what I've been trying to say about solar panel companies here in Texas. This is what she said. Does anyone know how to legally get out of a solar panel lease? Like anyone know of a loophole? We were lied to and taken for a ride, and this is now double our normal electric bill, and the panels are still not producing what was promised. If I'm understanding this contract correctly, it will be $70,000 to get out of the contract with them. Lawyers with solar panel experience, a plus. Now, I don't know who this person is, nor do I obviously have access to her solar panel contract, but this is what I'm saying. In Texas, this is exactly what goes on and why I think solar panels are a complete scam. Like, if what she's stating is correct and she will be out $70,000 for that, and her electric bills haven't even changed. I don't know how long she's had them either. So, but damn. Don't do it. Don't get solar panels, at least not here in Dallas-Fort Worth.
So before making a purchase like this, I strongly suggest that you read reviews and talk to actual customers who've been through the process. Real world experiences can reveal certain problems that the sales pitches conveniently leave out. And if you truly want solar panels, the safest approach is to save your money and pay for it in cash. Think about it. You already are paying an electric bill. So what is the harm in continuing to pay it until you saved enough to buy your solar panels outright? I think you'd be a lot less stressed. When someone says they were lied to, if that claim is based only on something that was said verbally, it usually is not going to hold up. What is in the contract matters the most. I really hope they thoroughly read through the agreement before signing, but I do have some doubts based on what we've heard, especially given that getting out of the lease now costs $70,000. So would you ever lease solar panels? Let me know. People often only focus on the monthly payment for solar panels, but that can be a costly mistake. Here's why.
Do not get solar. Learn from my mistakes. Solar panels may seem like a good gift, but they're like a Trojan horse. Like, they're literally going to turn around and bite you in the bottom somehow. Basically, solar panels seem like a really good deal because of the way they try to spin it. But really, you're getting into massive debt, and you have to remember this. Like, forget about the monthly payments that are always going to be less than your electric bill, because that's literally how it's designed. That's kind of like the scam part of it. They can always crunch those numbers to make it less than your electric bill. But what you need to remember is you're going to be in that much debt. So if you have a mortgage on your house and your solar panels cost you anywhere between $25,000 and $70,000, that's a huge lump of debt you are going to be in getting solar, and it's very expensive. My experience with solar wasn't very good. My husband and I, at the time, we were living in this house, and my husband decided to get solar, and it took them an entire year. They hooked up the solar panels on the roof pretty quickly, but I think it was an entire year before the permit and everything went through for the solars to be connected to Duke Energy. And guess what? During that entire time, we had to pay our electric bill plus the monthly payment for the solar panel. So you need to remember that you're always going to be responsible for those solar panel payments, despite if something isn't working, if something isn't correct. Every month, you have to pay those payments.
I respect that she's being transparent about her mistakes, and it helps others avoid them at the end of the day. And this kind of reminds me of car sales tactics. So they work the numbers to hit your target monthly payment that you tell them you're comfortable affording. But here is where the trap is. Focusing only on the monthly payment can hide the true cost of the car or the item. Lenders can stretch out the term so you pay more interest and end up owing them and paying them for a longer period of time. And this is the first time we've heard someone say they had to start paying before the solar project was even finished, at least the first time that I've heard it. And to me, that is a red flag. She ended up saying later in the video that her payment actually jumped $50 per month, and the solar loan made selling the home a lot harder, like we've said time and time again. Do you think people should be financing anything besides a home, or is that asking for trouble to finance everything in your life? Let me know what you think. A lot of these problems could be solved with proper planning and household budgeting. In the Keys Within Reach community, we have a great budget calculator that'll help you understand your household expenses so you can continue to work towards your goals. Let's take a quick look at it. All right, so as you can see here, you're able to select the kind of area you live in: high cost of living, medium cost of living, low cost of living, and you can enter all of your expenses, so your needs, your wants, and your saving percentages. And we have some targets in here just as guidelines, and this will really help you understand a ballpark range of your finances and where you can get them better. And this is available inside the Keys Within Reach community. More info about that in the pinned comment of this video. A lot of people are told that they'll have zero electric bill after getting solar, but is it really true?
Somebody please explain this to me. I just checked my electric bill. For reference, I live in Texas. I have solar panels and I own a 2-story home with a brand new AC. And my electric bill this month came out to $233. And not to mention that I pay $130 a month in solar panels. $360 a month for electric. Is this normal? I have lived in this home for 5 years now, and I have never experienced an electric bill this high. Like $230, maybe, but I have solar panels. It shouldn't be that high.
So she's paying over $100 a month for solar and just got an electric bill for more than $300 on top of that. I thought solar panels were supposed to save you money. So someone needs to make this make sense to me. This is exactly why you have to be thorough when considering solar panels. So the cost, the production, savings, all those things and more, they vary by location. So I don't want you to go into it blindly if you choose to do so. In the comments, she's even said this is the biggest mistake she's made as a homeowner. So do you think she made a mistake by getting solar? Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, unfortunately, some people lock themselves into decades of payments because of solar loans. And this next clip explains how that happens. But first, I need you to hit that like and subscribe button. If you want to get better at real estate investing, you got to follow this channel.
With my clients, I go through, their financial situation, how much money they make, how much debts they have, X, Y, and Z. And it got brought up that on this $107,000 home, they had $92,000 loan on some solar panels. And for those of you that are like, Jess, what solar panels cost $92,000? Absolutely zero, especially on that size of home. In fact, when he told me that he had a $92,000 solar panel loan, I was like, okay, so if I do, you got a solar panel loan for almost as much as your home is worth, and your home loan is $92,000. And I literally told him on the phone, I was like, yeah, this salesman had the best payday of his entire life. $92,000 of solar panels. So I did break the news to him. I said there's not a bank from here to Houston that's going to give you a loan. I just wanted to be honest with him, okay? I mean, that's the truth. But back to the solar panels. I literally said that salesman had the payday of his life. And I said, you are a salesman's dream. Not my dream, but the salesman's dream for sure. And then I proceeded to tell him that there's no way that solar panels should have cost more than $20,000 on that size of home.
$92,000 for solar panels is insane. I don't understand why anybody would do that. Unfortunately, some people are sold way too easily. This is why it's so important to have a healthy level of skepticism and make the person selling to you prove every claim that they're making. In this case, the homeowner is effectively stuck for the next few decades because of both the mortgage and the massive solar panel loan. This story is honestly heartbreaking, and it makes me wonder, was this an elderly person? Let me know what you think about that, because because sadly, some solar salespeople target and take advantage of seniors who may not know the full risk of what they're getting into. This next clip is lighter than the others, and you might even laugh.
I was trying to take a nap, but I can't even sleep right now because what's on my mind is I need y'all to stop. Please stop, for the love of God, putting solar panels on your house. Please stop that. It's not cute. It makes your house look ugly. It doesn't save you any real money. You want to believe that because you need to justify the fact that you let a 19-year-old with no real job come knock on your door and sell you a shiny object and get you into a 20-year lease for something that makes your house virtually unmarketable. You're getting a bill for your electric still, and you're getting a bill for the solar panels. So you added a bill. You didn't take away a bill, which is supposed to be the point. And as a real estate agent, whenever I bring people to your house and it has a solar panel on it, they want to leave. As a real estate agent, now people don't even want to see houses with solar panels on them. As a real estate agent, I've taken people to homes that they loved and wanted to put an offer on but would not because of the solar panels.
She said she couldn't sleep because people keep buying solar panels. And a 19-year-old with no real job is coming to your door to sell you solar panels. This lady's kind of funny, I'm not gonna lie. One thing this highlights though is how many people make emotional purchases without really thinking things through. If someone comes to your door selling anything, you should never agree to it on the spot. Don't allow yourself to be pressured. Do you think she feels this strongly about it because she's a real estate agent? If you've ever thought solar might be a scam, you'll have to let me know what you think of this next clip.
So I already know that this is going to cause some dissenting opinions. I'm going to share what I believe to be the biggest scam in real estate. Most people buy or sell their own home 3 to 5 times in a lifetime. I do that 3 to 5 times a month. So I am strictly speaking based on things I've seen happen in my own transaction that have severely financially impacted buyers and sellers. So the biggest scam is solar panels, in my opinion. Unless you plan to live in a house for over 30 years, it does not make sense to get solar panels put on your house. They're anywhere from $25,000 to $40,000. And yes, they offer financing, but when you sell a home, the buyer has to assume that financing. Now the buyer has to consider that in their debt to income ratio. I've seen buyers lose loans and transactions fall apart because of this loan assumption for the solar panels. So what ends up happening is that most buyers require that the seller pay off the solar panels at closing. And 9 times out of 10, sellers have only gotten the solar panels like 5 years prior. So did you save $25,000 to $40,000 in energy costs over 5 years? Probably not. Not to mention in Texas, we're notorious for hailstorms. And so you have to consider the damage that happens to solar panels during a hailstorm. I wish it wasn't a scam because to have more energy efficiency would be fantastic. But unfortunately, it's a very predatory industry and I see sellers and buyers get screwed by solar panels all the time.
I don't think solar itself is a scam, but the mistakes people make when buying them may make it feel that way. It's really hard for me to understand why someone would agree to finance solar panels unless they have perfect finances and are choosing to do payments for some other reason. The people selling solar panels will likely never tell you it can make selling your home harder if you finance them. In the last solar panel video I did, a buyer ended up paying an extra $25,000 because of this. Something else people don't talk about is the damage that the weather can cause to the solar panels and complications when your roof needs to be replaced. I mean, by her logic, nobody should finance solar panels because most people don't stay in their homes for 30 years like she mentioned. It's actually half than that or even less in some cases. So these clips really show how different the reality of solar panels can be from what's promised. For some people, it works great. And for others, it's a financial headache that they unfortunately cannot escape. So my perspective is is don't just look at the potential savings, look at the risk too. You have to have a balanced perspective. Have you ever thought about getting solar, or if you already have it, would you do it again? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm always interested to see how our different experiences compare. Also, by the way, I am a licensed real estate agent, so if you are looking to buy or sell a home, I can connect you with a trusted agent in your area. Just fill out the quick form in the pinned comment and we can schedule some time to chat. Lastly, if you're a first-time home buyer looking for guidance, I invite you to join my Keys Within Reach community. You can find the info for that in the pinned comments as well. Now that you know about solar panel regrets, I want you to learn about why some homeowners are being forced to sell their homes. Check out this video right here.